I'm Brandon.
And I'm Chelsea.
It's Red Arachnid month.
It's red.
At Red Arachnid.
It's
all
endless,
you can eat arachnids. Endless arachnids.
Endless spider legs at Red Arachnid.
That's not as filling. But that you can eat a whole lot.
It's like frog legs.
I've never had frog legs. I've never seen people eat frog legs.
Really?
I know it's a real thing. But
I've had frog legs because my dad's side of the family eats them. I don't understand the obsession.
But it's not trigger warning frogs. It's trigger warning spiders.
No, I really don't get the obsession with frog legs though, because it tastes just like chicken, but there's less of it. So
yeah, that's the issue.
Why wouldn't I just go for chicken, which has more meat on there, and instead of frog legs, which has a lot less meat and harder to cook? I don't get it.
That's the thing. That's the alternate dimension where there's Red Arachnid, where it's a real thing, and people just go there. It's like endless spiders, and there's just spiders crawling on the wall. It's like when you go to pick out your own lobster. It's like, I'll have that lobster, please.
Right, I'll have that tarantula, please.
Yeah, you're just picking spiders off the walls. It's
putting them in a little basket with a little lid on top.
Yeah. Hey, you want to go spider picking?
Right.
And there's just apple trees with no apples on them.
They're just giant spiders.
They're just no, it's a bunch of half-eaten apples because the spiders are eating at the apples and stuff.
Right.
And just boop boop. Are fruit spiders a thing? Fruit bats are a thing, so there must be fruit spiders.
I don't know if there are fruit spiders. I'm not sure. You could Bing it.
I could Bing it. Are there fruit spiders?
Are fruit spiders a thing?
Binge drinking.
I know.
Being drinking.
I know when I worked at Whole Foods, people would put spiders in their bananas.
You mean
they would I knew I had coworkers that would physically find a spider and put it in their little banana bushel so that the little spider could eat all the fruit flies. So there are banana spiders, I guess.
Well, yeah, definitely, because that's what happens in the song, 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot bunch. They're actually talking about, what's that, big spider? Get bit by a big spider? They're talking about, being slaves in the Banana Republic, picking bananas all day, and, being afraid of the spiders that are in the banana plants. In the banana bush. Yeah! What's the name of that song? It's by Henry Belafonte. Bananas Deo. That's the name of the song. Deo. Yeah.
Banana boat.
Banana boat. Ring, 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 ring.
Banana
Picking
boat.
Bananas. Daylight coming, we want to go home. They want to go home to get away from the fucking banana spiders.
Right.
Where is it? Looking through the lyric.
Oh, hide the deadly black tarantula.
Daylight coming, we want to go home.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what's happening in that song. That has 10 million views. I'm surprised it's not bigger. Good song.
It's not even 10, it's 9.9.
Yeah, it's 9.9. Speaking of not as successful as one would hope, this story is entitled PSP.txt. And I Googled Bing, and then I used Bing to find me spider-related creepypastas, and this one came up. So I'm not sure why, but I saw the word spider appear a few times. So we're going to read this one and see what happens.
Alright, sounds like an adventure.
Alright.
About a few months ago, I went to my local mall with my 7-year-old son, David, to see if there was anything he wanted for Christmas and put on his list. Now, David was your average kid who likes things like superheroes, action figures, Legos, and video games.
Spider-Man dressed up like Captain America and the Hulk combined.
Yeah. He loves those doujinshis with Spider-Man and Deadpool.
Yes.
Big shipper.
There's a lot of good Western Spider-Man porn out there. You gotta be looking for it, but it's out there. There's a lot of it.
Have you been looking for this?
Is
this your Spider-Man fetish?
Well, it's stuff where it's Spider-Verse related things, so it's a bunch of Spider-Mans fucking each other and Spider-Gwens, and it's Spider-Gwen's sister Spider-Gwen.
Spider-Gwen 2. Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, and it's just three-way. Spider-Man, Spider-Gwen, and Spider-Gwen having sex.
I did look up Spider-Gwen references, and I saw an anti-Spider-Gwen.
What?
Inverted Spider-Gwen, I guess.
So I don't even...
I don't know if that's actually real or if that was just fan art, though.
Is Spider-Gwen just is Spider-Gwen just a Spider-Man from another universe, or is she...
So she's Gwen Stacy, but she got bit by the spider instead of Peter Parker.
Okay. So, is there a Spider-Gwen Venom?
I don't know. I've never actually read Spider-Gwen.
So I'm imagining that they're just...
I want to, though, because, she's adorable. And, like, I love the design. But, like, I also never want to get into comics again.
No, it's kind of a hole to go down.
Yeah.
It's a frustrating thing because you feel like if you read one thing, you need to read all things.
Yeah.
There's like that otakuism.
But it's impossible to find all things.
Yeah. It's not worth it.
And then it's just, like, internal screaming for years on end.
Plus they're getting, like, bogged down in useless political debates, and that's just like...
It's like, no, I come here to watch Deadpool flirt with Spider-Man.
Yes.
I did not come here for, like, political...
Yeah, don't care
messages.
What it is.
I just want Deadpool to flirt with Spider-Man, and Spider-Man being like, why do you always do this to me?
We're artists. Chelsea and I are artists. We spent time around artists. Let me tell you.
We all just draw smut.
Artists are not the best people to think about politics. They're not good at articulating themselves usually.
No.
Just give us...
There's a reason why we draw instead of...
Yeah, talk about...
Do the talkings.
Yeah. Talking about the big things. Anyway,
talk about the big concepts. Before we left the mall, we came across a store called The Revolution. What? Did I skip a sentence?
No, I'm just thinking about, like, Peter Parker. It's like, okay, Miles, come from this other dimension. Let me tell you about being Spider-Man. First rule about being Spider-Man is you gotta read this book, and then just hands him 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson.
Oh my god. Clean your room.
Clean up your spider web.
Clean your room, Miles.
Clean your spider web.
I think I did skip a sentence, though.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah. We went into some stores like Walmart, Brookstone, and even a Lego store. Before we left the mall, we came across a store called The Revolution and went inside. For those of you who don't know, The Revolution is a locally owned game store run by a few guys. They sell everything from new games to old games from when I was a child, such as Super Mario Bros. On the NES. David looked around and then saw something that caught his eye. The thing he saw was a Sony PSP 1000 system. He told me, Dad, this is something I want for Christmas. Do you think Santa could get me one? And I told him, well, maybe if you're lucky and put it on your Christmas list, Santa might hook you up. He smiled as we continued to look around. Well, technically I was the only one looking because he was looking at that PSP box. Soon after, we left and went back home.
This does not sound like a dad.
This sounds like an older brother. Or like weird, zany uncle.
It doesn't have the vibe of a father, because he's saying stuff like, for those that don't know, it's like, that's everyone.
Right.
Like, no one lives where you live.
Right. And plus, he's not making enough dad jokes.
True. He's also saying, he saw a PSP 1000 system, like the 1000 model, which is like the first model of PSP. No one says that.
They just say PSP.
They just say PSP, because like...
Because all PSPs are the same.
They all look the same. Hashtag not all PSPs. Like, it's... The PSP 1000 is like... It's like slightly heavier, but it's the same. No one would know the difference by looking at it.
Right.
So that's weird. After writing a letter to Santa Claus and mailing it, waiting a couple of weeks, and having a Christmas Eve party at my grandparents' house, Christmas Day finally arrived. Just like any other child, David woke me up saying, "Santa came! Santa came!" I walked with him down the stairs, and he was practically screaming with joy. Under the tree were gifts for him. He asked, "Can I open the gifts? Can I? I said to him, "Yes," and with that, he started to unwrap his gifts. He got things like a Power Rangers action figure, a Lego Star Wars set, a Disney Pixar's Cars Lightning McQueen car, and clothes. Those things are all like from different time periods, so I'm a little confused as to like when this is supposed to be taking place.
Maybe the dad just really likes to shop at antique stores. I
guess. Or thrift stores or something.
Or thrift stores, yeah. You could find all of these things at thrift stores. They might be missing a few parts, though.
But did I ever tell I don't know if I told the story about when I got the Yellow Ranger for Christmas. Okay, I don't know if I ever told this on air, but there was a Christmas where myself and my cousins all got Power Rangers action figures, and like, I think that my aunts and uncles thought I was the most effeminate kid, so they got me the Yellow Ranger. And so it was like my three cousins who got like the Boy Rangers, and then I got the Yellow Ranger, and I'm like, well, fuck you. I like it anyway. Fucking, I got yellow fever. I like Trini, yeah.
Right.
I'm about this.
Did I ever tell you about the time where, like, the PS2 had come out. Like, I didn't have one, but I really wanted one because I really wanted to play Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. So I begged my parents for a PS2 and for this game. Like, over the course of a couple months, I just kept begging and begging and begging, and my mom was constantly just like, no, video games are not for girls. No. And my dad was just like, sorry, listen to your mom, wink, wink.
Mm-hmm.
So Christmas comes, and I open up all my gifts, and I get the games I want, but I did not get the PS2. Because my mom had wrapped the PS2 and put our dog's name on it. So the PS2 technically belonged to our dog.
Oh.
Because she got it for our dachshund.
God, your mom's weird.
She's a strange one.
You can tell that she wasn't doing that as a joke, but like as a weird mental justification.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh boy. The gift that he opened was to him the best.
What?
The gift that he opened was to him the best. That's what it says.
Oh, but the gift that he opened was to him the best. Yeah.
I understand what they mean.
It's really not well written, that sentence.
When unwrapping the second to last gift, he had what has got to be the happiest faces ever.
One of the happiest faces ever.
One of the happiest faces ever. It was the Sony PSP 1000 system.
Oh, jeez.
He's saying it like it's an Atari 2600 or something.
Right.
Bundled with the superhero games I got him. Those games were Justice League Heroes and Spider-Man 3. I remember that when I got my PSP, it came with a copy of Spider-Man 2 on UMD. And I remember like watching that on my PSP and thinking, wow, this is a terrible fucking viewing experience.
Yeah.
This is not good for watching stuff.
No. When I got my PSP, my dad also got me Final Fantasy Spirits Within for the PSP. Mm-hmm. And that made me really happy.
Yeah, it's not fun watching something on that little...
No, it wasn't, but like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Memories. It's a nice big breakfast.
Oh.
A nice big breakfast.
For some reason, I thought you still had more of your paragraph. After a nice big breakfast, David opened the PSP box, plugged the AC adapter, plugged the other side to the PSP, and let it charge. I gotta say, as a child, like, I would wake my parents up at 4 or 5 a.m., and then they'd be like, well, if you can wake your sister up, then we can open our gifts. My sister would just be like, fuck off. And then, like, at 7, I would finally convince her to get up, and then we would all have to open our presents because I just could not be contained with excitement. Like, if this child was genuinely that excited, he would not wait until after breakfast to plug in that PSP.
Yeah, it's also really funny because, like, your sister is a giant greedy cunt. I can't believe she wouldn't wake up for presents.
She, growing up, did not like to wake up before, like, 7. And, well, like, the only time of the year that I would... Yeah, me too. But, like, the only time of the year where I would genuinely wake up early was for Christmas. Mm-hmm.
You just can't sleep. But it's also funny, too. This is not, like, anything on the story. I'm just saying. It's funny. This is why I don't like mobile gaming, generally. I think mobile gaming on, like, phones is better than the kind of, like, geeky Nintendo, Sony kind of stuff that you get on those consoles, because those things are meant to be played quickly, and then all the PSP and DS games and Game Boy games and everything, what always happens is, get the game, oh, I can play anywhere. Guess I'll stay inside and play because it's hot and it's fucking summer and I want to stay inside and play.
Really?
It's like, it's winter, it's cold outside, I want to stay inside and play the video game here. And then I would just like look at the fact that I'm playing Pokemon on my Game Boy and be like, I have a fucking Nintendo right there. I have an N64 right there, what the fuck am I doing? And then I would be like, you know what, I'll take this to school. And then I had no time to play it at school. I mean,
like, I have no place to talk because I wasn't allowed to have handheld systems, so...
Can't let people have those handheld systems. It's like traveling brothels.
Like, I remember one of my friends felt really bad for me because I was just like, my parents won't let me get one. So she was just like, okay, I have like 3 of these. You can have one. And then my mom found out and she was like, no, you're taking that back and you're taking that back right now or I'm beating you. It's like... All right. Good times.
Just unloading Chelsea's childhood trauma of her mom being a weird sexist freak.
I think it's kind of funny, personally, because it didn't really work.
No.
She couldn't keep me from the JRPGs.
Which is like the most feminine genre of video games. It is weird, because like the people, the sexist ideas that people have about video games, young people never had them. It's only adults that ever had them.
My dad didn't have that.
Yeah, no.
It was my mom for some reason.
Well, your dad is very forward thinking.
On some things.
On most things, I would say. But like, he speaks Portuguese. That's cool.
Yeah.
But so like the idea of like Barbie Dreamhouse being the Barbie Horse Adventures or something being the games that little girls play, that's only the conception that weird, like, suburban parents have.
Right.
Like, the kids didn't have that perception because like little girls just didn't fucking play those games. They played the games that the boy games, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, is it my turn?
No, I got through the first sentence and we got off on a tangent. I got to admit that for his young age, he was pretty smart considering the fact that he didn't even need to read the Getting Started manual. After letting it charge for a few hours, he gave it to me to fill in the Getting Started information, birthday, time, and date.
What are you talking about? Like, you're like, man, my kid is so smart, he doesn't need this manual that no one reads anyway. And by the way, the setup for the PSP is super easy. But then he gets to the birthday and time and date stuff, and he can't fill that in? Actually, your kid's kind of stupid. Your kid doesn't know what the date is? That was the first thing that I did every day at school. It was just like, in elementary school, it was just like, all right, here's the date. Write down the date.
Really? Because the first thing we did was Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge of Allegiance, yeah, you're right.
Which
Pledge Allegiance.
I was a lazy fuck, and I never stood for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I can't believe you got away with that.
It was just, like, they were just like, why aren't you, like, standing? And I was just like, I'm lazy, like...
I remember...
And they just let me get away with it, because they were just like, we don't want to talk to you.
You just Bartleby the Scrivenering. It's like, I'd prefer not to. I remember...
Basically.
Being the little skeptical atheist I was as a little kid, being like, pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and then we got to the part about God, and I was like, this seems hella out of place.
Yeah.
And then I found out later in life that, like, that was inserted into the Pledge of Allegiance during the McCarthy era. So if you say the Pledge of Allegiance without the under God, it makes so much more sense.
Right.
Like, rhythmically, it's like, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, undivided, with liberty and justice for all.
Indivisible.
Indivisible, yeah. Invisible.
Invisible.
Because the kids don't know what they're saying.
Right.
But it has a rhythm to it, and it's like...
Yeah, it feels better. It's a better mouthfeel.
One nation, indivisible. Those... just putting the under God there is so weird. Because it's like... Yeah. It's just like, one nation, buy blue mac and cheese, indivisible. Like, one thought is not part of the other ones.
Right, one of these things is not like the others. One of these things just doesn't belong.
It's just like great speeches. Like, it's like, I have a dream that one day everyone will be able to get Happy Meals for $3 and will be judged.
And 7 years ago, I had a hat.
No one... Well, to be fair, he did have a hat.
Yeah, but...
People know him for his hat.
It was not in the speech, though.
It was implied. It was implied. Maybe when he gave the Gettysburg Address was the first time he wore the hat, and like everyone's just standing there, just like, we're not going to address the fact that you're wearing a new hat. Looking quite dapper there, President.
Really? Because I feel like it would be like you know how like when women who are like over 6 feet tall wear high heels, and other women are just like,
people can't see you giving me a look, Chelsea.
Oh, that's right. But
she's doing the hands on her hips, like really,
girl,
yeah,
really. I can't even see you up there. Not to, like, wear whatever shoes you want to, but, like, I feel like people would have been looking at him.
We are a shoe-positive group here.
Right. I feel like they would have been like, really? You're making yourself taller, Abe?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What are you compensating for?
Yes. Dude, Abraham Lincoln had to have a huge prostate poker.
What?
He had to have had a huge dick.
Okay.
Abraham Lincoln had a huge dick.
See, when you say poker, I imagined, like, a fireplace poker?
Well... you might be thinking of fingers, because he did have giantism, so he had giant prostate pokers on his hands as well.
Okay. things I never wanted to know about one of our presents for 200, please.
What, you didn't know that he had giantism?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, had those giant log cabin fingers.
Alright.
We sat down.
Poor Martha.
We're shotgunning reading these, and we sat down and we're like, okay, this one's longer than I thought it was going to be. Let's try and keep a brisk pace.
It.
And we're talking about like Abraham Lincoln's sex life and what he's compensating for with his hat.
Right.
There is not a fucking hint of anything spider related in this story yet.
Yeah. Well, didn't he say he got like Spider-Man 3?
He got Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, there you go, Spider.
Yeah, Spider. SEO optimization justified.
Okay. So I gave it back to him and he said, "Thank you, Dad," and ran off with the device in his hands.
I love my daddy.
I love my dad. I read the manual to see what the system could do, and to my surprise, it had a lot of features like listening to music, playing videos.
Oh my god, dude, we know what a PSP does.
Playing and downloading games from the PlayStation Network, and viewing pictures and more.
Is this an advertisement?
This is reading like it's an advertisement.
Is this dad like part of the Sony Defense Force?
He might be. It came with a memory card, so these features were available, unlike some systems.
Oh my god, it fucking is a guy. He's just like, unlike some Nintendo systems.
I hate Nintendo.
Well, no, Sony people really fucking hate our Microsoft and Xbox people. They're like, because that's the competitor.
I can confirm that. My dad he hated Xbox, which is why I always got Sony stuff growing up.
Yeah, we were both pretty hardcore Sony fanboys.
Yeah.
We were part of that Sony Defense Force.
Yeah, we were. Until Nintendo came through, and I finally got my first handheld, like, DS with my own money.
Yes.
And I was so happy.
And then you got another one and you gave me a DS and I'm like, I didn't want this, but okay, I'll play DS.
Right. Well, I got one and then...
Oh, we got a Buzzy Boy in there.
Oh, we got a Buzzy Bee.
We need more spiders to eat it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Where are your spiders when you need them? But yeah, so I got the one and then I got the Zelda one and I'm like, okay, I have two. You need one because you don't have one.
We should read this.
Yes, we should. We should stop getting distracted. Thank you, Dad, and ran off with the device, some systems, and as I suspected, David showed me all of these features that he thought was pretty sweet. Everything I thought would go well. I mean, he's got games and all those features. What could go wrong? Well, an incident happened.
I like that it's not the incident. It's
right.
It's not that tragic. It's just like
it's not like the spaghetti incident. It's not the noodle incident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the hat mishap of 1832.
Right.
After 3 months of owning it, one day when letting it charge, David tripped on the AC cord, causing the PSP to fall out of the corner and
off of the counter
and onto the floor. When I heard the crash, I ran upstairs to his room, only to find him staring at the PSP face flat on the ground with the UMD cover opened with game also on the ground. He then, without noticing me, picked up everything fast, still with wide eyes. After putting the UMD disc back into the system and turning it on, the system came back, but with a message error saying, "Disc could not be read." When taking the disc out and putting the disc back in, the same error message popped up. He started to panic, and then he saw me standing there, which made him jump. Immediately, he said that the PSP won't read the games, and he told me, "Can you fix it?" Not knowing what to say, and without thinking, I just said, "I'll do my best." He hugged me and said, "Thanks," while in my head I'm thinking, how am I going to fix this? Don't think a parent would say UMD cover. Right. I don't think people know what the format is for...
I don't think most people would say UMD cover.
I think most people have forgotten what UMDs are, hopefully.
Right, because they were horrible.
Yeah, oh my god.
I was not a fan. They broke way too easily.
Super easy.
It was like just one wrong touch and bam, no more game.
Anyone who knows me that I always took great care of my games, and like my parents were like, "This shit's expensive, but we'll buy it for you because you love it." And so I'm like, I always took care of it. UMD, I've broken like 3 UMDs. They just break. They do.
Like you touch them the wrong way, and they're just like, "I'm dead now." It's
like when you got a full forehead full of spiders, it just breaks sometimes.
Yeah.
Alright.
Alright. Later that day, I opened up the system and saw that the part that plays the UMD was cracked. After doing some research, the part that was broken was disc reader, or in other words, the Sony PSP 1001 UMD drive-in laser. I found the part for a fairly good price of $14.95 on eBay, plus free shipping. I ordered it, and about a week later, the part came. I googled how to take apart the drive and how to put it back in, and within about 45 minutes, I got the drive switched out. I called in David, and he was down the stairs within seconds. I told him to test a game, and sure enough, it worked. He was happy and ran right back up the stairs to play the device. I guess I would be happy too if I was his age, but like most of the time, happiness doesn't always last.
There's always the unnecessary details. There are details that you can include that will flesh out the world.
This is just...
It's like telling us the model is telling us how much we paid on eBay.
Oversaturation on information.
Yeah. I haven't heard the phrase Sony PSP 1001 UMD driver and laser since I tried to homebrew my PSP and hack it to play ROMs.
Yeah?
Yeah. Didn't work. At 7 o'clock at night, when I was watching some television, like, how would you remember that vividly? The time in the living room, he came in with the PSP in his hand and had a rather strange expression on his face. He looked confused, but also a little frightened. I asked him what was wrong, but all he did was show me what was on the screen. The PSP screen was a white screen with black text on it. The text read, "Hey, buddy," only it was spelled like,
Hey, buddy!
So it's like capital Y, capital D, capital Y, "Hey, buddy." I told him, how did this get on the screen? He just said the PSP froze and shut off, and when he turned it back on, the text appeared. I held down the power switch and turned it back on, only to see the normal logo and home menu. I just told David that it was a glitch and said not to worry. He said okay and left the room. I thought that was a bit strange since that has never happened before. That's why you thought it was strange? I think it's strange in upon itself.
Yeah.
Could that UMD drive somehow be affecting the unit? I tried to stop thinking about it, but after about a few minutes I did, and went back to my show. So here we have a picture of the PSP, and it does indeed say, "Hey, buddy," on it. So that's always nice. Pictures, visual aids are always nice.
Right.
So now we can pick, like, I would have had a question of, like, is it black on white text? Got that, but, like, where is it? And it's showing you that it's, like, off-center and everything. So the visual aid, I think, is nice. It's
right.
helpful. But this is the first hint of something weird happening at all, really.
I mean, except for the dad not acting like a dad.
That, but that's not intended.
About half an hour later of the whole incident, he came in again with the PSP in his hand. Again, but this time looking pale and was on what looked like the verge of crying. He started to cry and said Spider-Man died.
Started to cry?
And now he's talking to me. Spider-Man died and now he's talking to me. He gave me the PSP, which now had another piece of black text in front.
He's like, "Hey kid, I'm gonna teach you how to be Spider-Man."
Like, this paragraph is just feeling really hard to read.
It's a big, crunchy paragraph.
Because, like, there's punctuation and really weird parts.
Mm-hmm.
He gave me the PSP, which now had another piece of black text in front on a white background on it. This time, however, it read, "Why?" ellipses with a sad face above it. I told him to go to his room and leave his PSP down here. When he left to go to his room, I shut off the system and then looked up gameplay of his Spider-Man 3 game on YouTube. When watching the videos, I realized that Spider-Man never really dies in the game and that you just restart the mission. In fact, if you jumped off a high building like the Empire State Building, he just lands like he always does when jumping from a building. In other words, he doesn't die. So thinking back when David said that Spider-Man had died, I just thought, how? And that led me to do one thing, and that was play the game myself. I booted up the system, everything looking normal, and started the game. After loading one of his save files and waiting for one of the levels to start it finally did. I spawned in as the black-suited Spider-Man on one of the many buildings of New York. Nothing seemed out of place or anything like that, so I decided to start.
I wouldn't imagine.
Boy.
Yeah. That
was difficult.
Yeah. That's work. Black suited Spider-Man. That's kind of weird that you just start the game as Spider-Man in a black suit.
You just start the game as Miles.
Yeah, apparently. Okay. After getting used to the controls and web slinging around for a while, I finally found the Empire State Buildings. I will say that it took a really long time to climb the building. I didn't know at the time that there was a way to web zip up the building. But when I finally reached the top, I jumped off. The Spider-Man was falling. I thought I heard a small whisper coming from the PSP speakers that said, "Not again!"
Oh, geez, not this again.
Oh, gee, yes, just really Canadian. Really Wisconsin Spider-Man.
Yes.
Oh, geez. Spider-Man finally reached the ground, but when he did, it wasn't what I expected. When we landed, the screen cut to black, and I heard the sound, what sounded like bones breaking and shattering. Goddamn stink bugs. Then I heard what I thought was Spider-Man, but the thing that was odd was that it didn't sound like Tobey Maguire, whosoever, the guy who played him in both the movies and game. I'm fact-checking that shit right now. Tobey Maguire did not do the fucking voices.
In the game.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he did the voices when he was the actor in the movie.
PSP, Spider-Man 3... PSP.
Tobey Maguire.
Actually, what should I look up? So, voice?
Yeah, probably voice actor.
Voice actor. It's totally not no fucking way that it's full cast and crew. What the okay.
What, it is?
Hats off to you. It is Tobey Maguire.
Hey,
Tobey Maguire.
And James Franco, too.
Huh. Alright then. Huh. Alright, story. And good on you, video game, for actually getting the actors to do that.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting that.
Was not expecting that. Where were we? Tobey Maguire, but instead it sounded like a slightly low-pitched generic scream. Then the sound shut off. Then the system turned off, and then it turned back on. Another text appeared, but this time it was just an uppercased D. I started to press...
Gotta get the D!
Gotta get that. I eventually got to the select button. Then pressing the button, another letter appeared on the screen next to the D. Only this time, the letter wasn't uppercase. It was another letter appeared, but this time it wasn't a D. This is phrased so weird.
Yeah, it's rough.
I kept pressing the select button. Excuse me.
Tight.
Each time it gave me a new letter. It would no longer give me new letters. When it would no longer give me new letters, it's spelled out the following. Death to David.
Death to David?
But that's my son's name.
But that's my son's name. And also the name of my neighbor, and the name of my neighbor's neighbor, and the name of my neighbor's neighbor's dog. What I'm saying is a lot of people have the name David. A lot of people are named David. How did this device know David's name? It never asked for it when setting the system up. Could this UMD drive really affect the game? Is it haunted? That thought just kept looping in my mind. But then my thoughts got interrupted when I heard a scream coming from David's room. That scream startled me with another thought. Whatever could be happening up there? Without thinking, my legs just ran around the house and up the stairs as the screaming continued.
Just ran around the house?
Just his legs, though. His legs
running.
left the rest of his body on the couch.
He was running around downstairs. Didn't go upstairs where the scream was coming from. Just kept running around the house. When I reached his bedroom door, I pushed it open just to find David sleeping peacefully. What? Then out of the corner of my eye, I saw a black figure leaving the room out the window. I quickly screamed... Was it Venom? I quickly screamed, Hey! Hey! Hey, listen! Just as the figure's head turned around to reveal its face. A wide open mouth, sharp teeth, and big white eyes. Oh, shit. The face looked familiar. Hey, look, it's Spider... Wait, what? That's how it ends. It says, wait, what? Yeah. It's the ending. So is it both... No comments. Oh my god, both this and The Lost Spider-Man both end with Venom being, the Venom is real. Right. The Venom is in my house. Oh god, it's the Venom. Oh god, help me. The same hilariously nonsensical twist in both of them. Mm-hmm. Oh, that was great. Yeah, I have nothing else to say. Do you have any final thoughts? None. Alright. Links in the description. Bye. Later.